Obviously, all this.
Good afternoon, Earth. This is Adam Sturch broadcasting from the Mushroom Ranch in Taos, New Mexico, working on oil painting now. Alright, next step on this, I'm going to have a pool sort of right here. And then there's going to be a figure on either side of the tree head thing sitting next to the pool. And then I may start having creatures emerging from the pool and populating the negative spaces. So we'll see where it goes from there. First step is pool and perhaps characters.
So people call in and they're asking for insurance quotes. There are certain pre-existing conditions, basically industry-wide, that will not be covered. Diabetes, heart disease, certain forms of cancer. That if you have these conditions, you are most likely not going to get your health insurance.
How long is this list of conditions that would make you ineligible?
A long list. Long list. You could wrap around this house. Sometimes you know ahead of time that they're going to be declined at the end of the application, and they're like, God, you know, like one time I had a couple, and they were so happy to get, I start crying. They were so happy that they took up this application, and the husband was late for work, and the wife said to him, well, don't worry, baby, it's going to be okay because we have health insurance now. And when I looked at the end of the application, I could tell they were both going to get declined because of their health conditions. And they were so happy. And I thought, oh God, they're going to get that phone call in a couple weeks telling them that they're not eligible for insurance. And I just felt so bad because I just really thought, and I knew, and I couldn't say anything to them. I just felt like crap. And that's why I'm just such a bitch on the phone to people, because I don't want to get to know them. I don't want to know about their lives. I just want to get in and get out and get done with it because I can't take the stress of it.
In spite of Becky being a bit of a pain on the phone, a quarter of a million Americans are still able to get health insurance.
Every American deserves affordable health care. Call toll-free.
Let's meet some of these happy insured customers. Maria has Blue Shield, and Diane, Horizon Blue Cross. BCS insures Laurel, and Carolyn has Cigna. And it's a good thing that they're all fully covered.
I ended up being diagnosed with retroperitoneal cancer.
Brain tumor, breast cancer, brain tumor on the right temporal lobe.
Because they were insured, they got the red carpet treatment at the doctor's office.
She requested for me to see a neurologist.
The way they were going to treat it was to remove it.
Surgery was scheduled for December 9th.
There is a test that you can take that will show whether or not you actually would benefit from chemo.
Oh, they got their treatment all right, but not before battling with their insurance companies.
They were investigating whether or not this was a pre-existing condition.
It's not medically necessary.
They claim that it's experimental.
We don't consider that life-threatening.
Diane died from her non-life-threatening tumor. Laurel's cancer is now spread throughout her body. Her experimental test proved that Carolyn needed chemo. While vacationing in Japan, Maria became ill and got the MRI that Blue Shield of California had refused to approve. The doctors in Japan told her that she had a brain tumor. Blue Shield had said repeatedly she didn't have a tumor. That's when she said, well, I'm pretty sure I have a lawyer.
March 13th, 2003. I'm going to direct your attention to Exhibit 1. Please describe for me what it is.
It is a denial for referral to an ophthalmologist.
Is it your signature on the document?
Yes.
I'd like to direct your attention to Exhibit 2.
This is a denial of request for referral for a magnetic resonance imaging test of the brain.
It has your signature?
Yes.
Doctor, direct your attention to Exhibit 3. Please review this document.
This is a denial of a referral to a neurosurgeon.
Can you explain for me how you came to sign the denial letter?
This is a standard signature that's put on all denial letters.
Is that your signature or is that a stamp?
That is a stamp.
Did you ever see the denial letter before your signature was stamped on it?
No, but the denial letters are fundamentally the same. They're the denial letters that are sent out.
The answer is no.
No.
The very definition of a good medical director was somebody who can save the company a lot of money.
Dr. Linda Pino was a medical reviewer for Humana. She left her job because she didn't like their way of doing business.
I was told when I started that I had to keep a 10% denial. Then they were actually giving us reports on a weekly basis that would have all the cases we reviewed, the percent approved, and the percent denied, and our actual percentage denial rate. And then there would be another report that compared me to all the other medical reviewers. The doctor with the highest percent of denials was actually going to get a bonus.
Really? I mean, so like you as a doctor working for the HMO, if you denied more people health care, you got a bonus?
So that was the way they had set the system up. Any payment for a claim is referred to as a medical loss. That's the terminology the industry uses. I mean, when you don't spend money on somebody, you deny their care, or you make a decision that brings money in and you don't have to spend it. It's a savings to the company.
This is Tarsha Harris. Blue Cross didn't deny her treatment and actually approved her operation. But then they discovered that in the distant past, she had a yeast infection.
Apparently it's common. Men, women can get a yeast infection. So it was prescribed the yeast infection cream, general cream, and it went away.
She later applied for health insurance, and that's what you're supposed to be disclosing. Serious ailments. The yeast infection was independent and it's not a serious ailment. There was nothing else she could have done. It wasn't until they were going to have to spend money that they looked. If they'd taken 5 minutes beforehand and wanted to clear up the yeast infection, they could have looked at her medical records, they could have talked to her doctor.
Because of the undisclosed yeast infection, Blue Cross dropped Tarsha Harris.
She thinks she's put this behind her, and then Blue Cross changes their mind, tells the doctors, we're taking the money back, go get the money from Tarsha.
The fact of the matter is, it was a yeast infection. That's all it was. I'm still a little bitter because I don't trust insurance companies now. To me, it seems they're always going to be looking for a way out. You know, what happened to helping the person that's sick? Don't make their problems worse.
This is Lee Einer. If they weren't able to weed you out in the application process, or deny you the care your doctor said you needed, and somehow ended up paying for the operation, they send in Lee, their hitman. His job is to get the company's money back any way he can. All he has to do is find one slip-up on your application or a pre-existing condition you didn't know you had.
We're going to go after this like it's a murder case. And I mean a whole unit dedicated to going through your health history for the last 5 years, looking for anything that would indicate that you concealed something, you misrepresented something, so that they can cancel the policy, or jack the rates so high that you can't pay them. And if we couldn't find anything you didn't disclose on the application, you can still get hit with a pre-existing denial, because you don't even have to have sought medical treatment for it. In some states, it's legal to have what's called a prudent person pre-existing condition, and that's a mouthful, I know, but what that says is if prior to your insurance kicking in, you had any symptom which would incline a normally prudent person to have sought medical care, then the condition of which that symptom was a symptom is excluded. I know. It's labyrinthine, isn't it? But that's how it works. They're supposed to be fair and even-handed. But with an insurance company, it's their friggin' money. So it's not unintentional, It's not a mistake. It's not an oversight. You're not slipping through the cracks. Somebody made that crack and swept you towards it. And the intent is to maximize profits. Looking back, I don't know that I killed anybody. Did I do harm in people's lives? Yeah. Hell yeah. I haven't worked for insurance companies for a long time, and I don't think that really serves to atone for my participation in that mess. I am glad I'm out of it, though.
Julie Pierce was struggling to get care for her husband Tracy, who was suffering from kidney cancer. Julie works in the intensive care unit at St. Joseph's Medical Center in Kansas City, Missouri, which provided her family with health insurance.
Every month there was a new drug that the doctor wanted to try. My insurance denied it. One letter might say, not a medical necessity. One letter might say, it's not for this particular type of cancer, and they denied it. Then we came up with the bone marrow. It had showed to stop it, sometimes completely get rid of it.
Tracy's doctor said that this treatment had been successfully tried on many other patients. If one of Tracy's brothers turned out to be a suitable donor, there were promising bone marrow treatments for beating Tracy's cancer.
2 weeks later, the bone marrow nurse at KU called me and she goes, "We've got the results back. His youngest brother is a perfect donor match." We were ecstatic. You know, I think that's the happiest I had seen him in a while. So, submitted it and they denied it. Said it was experimental. So I found out that there is a board of trustees over our medical plan that actually work at my hospital, and they are the final decision makers on what gets approved and what doesn't get approved.
Julie and her husband and their son Tracy Jr. demanded a meeting with the health plan's board of trustees, the very people who had the power to approve their claim. They told Julie that they were sympathetic to her situation.
I said, "Your sympathy does me no good when I'm burying him next year." And I told him, I said, if I was, Bruce Van Cleve is our CEO, I said, I bet you if it was Bruce Van Cleve's wife, it would get approved. "No, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that." I said, "Or maybe if my husband was white." And I got up and walked out of the room. When we got home, I found him up in the bathroom. And I knocked on the door. I said, "What are you doing in there?" "Nothing." And I opened the door because usually he'll say, "Well, what do you think I'm doing in here?" And he was sitting in there and he was crying. And he said, "Why me? I'm a good person." And I said, "But we're not done fighting this. We're strong, yeah." And then he said, he goes, "I can see now that I'm going to die." He said, "But I can leave everything in the world, but I don't want to leave you and Tracy." The doctor told me he would die in 3 weeks. And on January 13th, which was my birthday, he went to sleep. And he died 5 days later here at home. He was my best friend. He was my soulmate. He was my son's father. I mean, we were going to grow old together. They took away everything that matters. I want to know why. Why my husband? Why wasn't he given a chance to live? You preach these vision and values that we care for the sick, the dying, the poor, that we're a health care that leaves no one behind. You left him behind. You didn't even give him a start. It was as if he was nothing. And I want them to have a conscience about it. And I don't think they do. I don't think it has fazed them one bit. At all.
There was one person in the healthcare industry who did have a conscience. Dr. Linda Pino, a former medical reviewer at Humana.
My name is Linda Pino. I'm here primarily today to make a public confession. In the spring of 1987, as a physician, I denied a man a necessary operation that would have saved his life and thus cost his death. No person and no group has held me accountable for this, because in fact what I did was I saved a company $500,000 for this. And furthermore, this particular act secured my reputation as a good medical director, and it ensured my continued advancement in the healthcare field. I went from making a few $100s a week as a medical reviewer to an escalating six-figure income as a physician executive. In all my work, I had one primary duty, and that was to use my medical expertise for the financial benefit of the organization for which I worked. And I was told repeatedly that I was not denying care, I was simply denying payment. I know how managed care maims and kills patients. So I'm here to tell you about the dirty work of managed care. And I'm haunted by the thousands of pieces of paper in which I have written that deadly word, denied. Thank you.
How did we get to the point that doctors and health insurance companies actually being responsible for the deaths of patients? Who invented this system? How did this all begin? Where did the HMO start? Thanks to the wonders of magnetic tape, we know.
We have now narrowed down the service problems on this second one issue, and that is whether we can include these health maintenance organizations like Edgar Kaiser's Permanente Vet. Now let me ask you, you know what I'm not speaking on these, this is a private enterprise. Well, that's a for profit. And the reason he could do it, I had Edgar Kaiser come in and terminate up this, and I went into it Sunday. All the incentives are toward less medical care. The less care they give them, the more money they make.
I am proposing today a new national health strategy. The purpose of this program is simply this. I want America to have the finest health care in the world. And I want every American to be able to have that care when he needs it.
The plan hatched between Nixon and Edgar Kaiser worked. In the ensuing years, patients were given less and less care.
Bigger log jams at the nearby public hospital and less quality medical care. Been in by 18 hours. Since 7 this morning. What looks cramped and unsightly can also be dangerous.
While the health insurance companies became wealthy, the system was broken.
37 million Americans are without protection against catastrophic illness.
The losers are the poor, who may now postpone urgently needed health care until it's too late.
This went on for years, until this man rode into town, bringing with him his little lady. Sassy. Smart. Sexy. Some men couldn't handle it.
Today I am announcing the formation of the President's Task Force on National Health Reform, chaired by the First Lady, Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Hillary Rodham Clinton decided to make health care for everyone her top priority.
Universal coverage now. And will not depend upon where you work, or whether you have a pre-existing condition.
Health care that can never be taken away.
Some Republicans complain Mrs. Clinton is getting a free ride because she's the president's wife.
It's fairly risky business, I believe, what President Clinton did to put his wife in charge of some big policy program.
And while I don't share the chairman's joy at our holding hearings on a government-run healthcare system, I do share his intention to make the debate and the legislative process as exciting as possible.
I'm sure you will do that, Mr. Army.
We'll do the best we can.
You and Dr. Kevorkian.
I have been told about your charm and wit, and let me see. The reports on your charm are...
Alright, so that gets the figures in there and the
Thank
little pool under the tree. And I'll continue detailing the figures, the tree, and then probably start on whatever is going to be emerging from the pool on the next session. We'll muse on that for the rest of the day. So that's it for the moment. Thank you for watching. That's Adam Sturch broadcasting from the Mushroom Mansion, Taos, New Mexico, working on oil painting now. Have a good day.
Socialized medicine. What really amounts to a giant social experiment.